welcome back for another book review. Today we are talking about this one. So this is Magickal Astrology, Use the Power of the Planets to Create an Enchanted Life by Skye. So this book, a little bit of a spoiler, but not really. So this is kind of more aimed at being like a beginner witch book, but with an emphasis on astrology. Because there are tangents into like random beginner witch stuff, and then it kind of is like, oh right, astrology, and then just randomly draws that in. So it kind of has a theme, but kind of not, and it's not just straight astrology, because there is a lot of sections of just meandering through the usual stuff that you would find, but again, then it like randomly remember, oh yeah, and it was weird. However, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I was so on the fence, because when you're trudging through the beginner crap, you're like, oh my god, why do I care? Like, what does the like tools of a witch and casting a circle have to do with astrology? Like, this is just beginner witch stuff. And then it'll have really, really good sections on astrology at random, and it'll have like how to actually utilize, because that's one of the things I've noticed reading through a lot of astrology books is like, well, I guess not a lot, but it feels like I read a bunch like kind of back to back, but like having the astrology actually be its own thing and not just for your birth chart, that's kind of hard to find, to be honest. This has a little bit on your birth chart, your natal chart, whatever. I don't know, like, I know that it, I don't know, I guess it's a thing that you call it your horoscope, but nobody's gonna think that. Like, horoscope is off of your sun sign, and it's something you find on, like, Cosmopolitan. And, like, it's not, even if it meant something at one point, it doesn't anymore. And so, yeah, your birth chart, your natal chart, where the planets were when you were born chart thing. Most of the astrology books focus on that, and that's it. And that's only one part of astrology. And so this book actually does go into like, hey, witches, utilize the other things. Utilize the planets, acknowledge where they're at. And then also of like the days of the week, and then the signs, the star signs that we're in. And so like right now, as of recording this, I don't know when you're seeing this because life is crazy, but right now it is the 19th of May, so we are right onto the cusp, moving into Gemini. Maybe we're there. I don't know. I know it fluctuates, but I feel like it's like maybe the 21st-ish. It's close enough. We're pretty much done with Taurus. We're moving into Gemini. And reading through this, it was like, oh, there's ideas. This is cool. I kind of am digging it. And honestly, I'm starting to realize my energy tends to match the zodiacs more than anything. So those were really cool. And same with the days of the week. Digging that. Because again, I love that. Planetary hours, still not my thing. That is so much math. I'm not about math in my practice. The most I will do is for a wee bit of numerology for like your month and your year, and that's it. I don't do much more with that because like it's a lot, and that's one of the reasons I don't love astrology. But I'm slowly getting there. I'm getting acquainted. I feel like none of these books have completely explained everything the way I need it to. It's fine. I'm getting the knowledge, just little tiny puzzle pieces at a time. We're getting there. But on a whole, I was really impressed. I don't often find me so back and forth on a book where it's like, sometimes I was so bored and I'm like, dude, you were just going on such a tangent. And then to be heavily impressed and like, wow, this is actually really helpful. This is actually really, really good. Wow. And back and forth constantly. I'm not used to that. Usually we're in one of the other camps, and then this one was just like a ping pong ball, back and forth. So ultimately I decided, you know what, if you can make me love your book even when I've been very, very, very bored with your book, it's probably a good one. So I would recommend this, obviously, if you are a beginner witch and you want to have an emphasis on astrology, maybe that's the thing that got you started into witchcraft, this is a good place to start because it does have a bit of both. It has introducing you to astrology a little bit grander than most people will be aware of, and then also into some of the basics of witchcraft. Circle casting, elements, tools, the wheel of the year, the moon phases, that sort of stuff. You get a little intro into it. It did also have some stuff on like your Saturn return, which for me, again, today's the 19th, on the 24th, so says everything I can find online, and I've been looking for the past couple years, says it starts on my Saturday. It's coming up on the 24th. Actually, you know what? I think that's the day you're seeing this. That might actually be the thing. Yep. Because the one I had planned is getting moved over to Patreon, because I feel weird putting DNFs on the channel. So, yeah. Saturn return. It had a good section on that and talked about it, and I'm like, cool. Did it explain everything that other people have talked about? No. But I don't know. I view it more as like you're moving through the 3 major phases of life. Like, really, you're in your youth for that first Saturn era, because it's your childhood, your youth, you know, like child, teen, young adult. And like, the older you get, you look back and you're like, God, you are a child. Like, even my husband, his coworkers are like 20, and he's over here gonna be 32, and it's like, you're a child. It's just, and yet, like, when you're 20 and you look at 14-year-olds, oh my God, you're just a child. But 14 looking at 7, oh my God, you're such a child. Like, that era is just like you're a youth. And then you have like your adult years for the next section of the Saturn thing, which is a lot. And then you move into your elderly era, your crone, your sage, your old era. And because like nobody's gonna see more than that, at least like currently. You get 3 if you're lucky. You get your first one at 29, your next one around like 60, and then like the end of, I think, your 80s, whatever, right? Like right into the, right? Like that's when it, anyways, math is not my strong suit, but like really you're gonna see the 3 and that's it. And so, yeah, it's wild. And at least I talked about it a little bit. Was it everything? No. Is your Saturn return supposed to bring a whole bunch of change? Yeah. Here's to hoping. It's supposed to also like really, I think this book said it's supposed to illuminate like whatever your Saturn is in. And I think mine was in something funky. Sorry if it's your sign, but like, let's see if I can find it again. Okay, because I always have it saved. So my Saturn is in Aries, so I don't know what that is gonna entail, because I'm only just now starting to know some of the zodiacs, kinda. This is like the first year I've really worked with like Aries energy and Taurus energy, and now we're moving into Gemini. And I have a lot of stuff for Gemini in my chart, but my Saturn is in Aries, and I think that was the only one that I have in Aries. Everything else, no. So, I don't know. I'm learning stuff, but they're not always the most helpful. I feel like there's a lot more to your Saturn return, but I don't know, find out. So anyways, that is it for this video. Thank you for coming along for another book review. I'd love to know your thoughts on this one if you read it in the comments down below. A huge thank you to my patrons. If you'd like to support me and get access to exclusive content, it's patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day, and until next time, blessed be.